Upon the silvered mirror of the twilight lake, where the mist hangs like a silken veil, a story unfolds, whispered only by the lapping water and the rustling reeds. This is the domain of the Swan Queen, a creature of such profound grace that her every movement writes poetry upon the water's surface. Her feathers, whiter than fresh fallen snow, hold the last light of the dying day, a soft, internal glow that promises safety to the flock nestled under her watchful gaze. The cygnets, little puffs of gray and white, drift in the calm of their mother's presence, their world a peaceful haven of rippling water and gentle twilight songs. As dusk deepens, painting the sky in hues of lavender and bruised purple, the air grows still. A quiet descends, but it is not the quiet of peace. It is the hush of anticipation, the held breath before a storm, the familiar sounds of the lake, the croak of a distant frog, the buzz of a dragonfly fade into an unnerving silence. The water, once a placid mirror, seems to hold its breath. Then, from the deepest shadows where the ancient willows weep into the lake, they emerge. The Shadow Herons, they are not birds of flesh and bone, but creatures woven from nightmare and malice. Tall and gaunt, their forms are indistinct, like smudges of ink bled onto damp paper. Their wings, vast and menacing, do not beat the air but seem to tear through it, dripping with accursed darkness that sizzles and steams where it touches the water. Their eyes are the most terrifying of all, twin embers of malevolent green, burning with a cold fire that promises only despair. They move without a sound, gliding over the surface, their intent a palpable wave of cold that washes over the tranquil scene. The cygnets sense the change first, their soft chirps turning to cries of alarm as they huddle closer to their mother. The air crackles with a sinister energy, the scent of ozone and decay fouling the sweet fragrance of the water lily. The very mist seems to recoil from their presence, twisting into grotesque shapes. The Swan Queen raises her head, her long, elegant neck an arc of defiance against the encroaching gloom. There is no fear in her eyes, only a fierce, protective fire. She knows this ancient enemy. She has faced this creeping dread in countless twilights past. This is not just a territorial dispute. It is a battle as old as light and shadow itself. With a call that is not a cry of panic but a trumpet of challenge, she gathers her power. Her serene glow begins to intensify, the soft light within her feathers brightening, pulsing with a purer, concentrated energy. The Shadow Herons pause, their glowing eyes fixed on this beacon of defiance. They spread their wings wider, casting long, distorted shadows that writhe and dance upon the water, trying to swallow the last vestiges of light. One of them lets out a rasping shriek, a sound like grinding stone that echoes across the lake, a challenge of its own. The darkness they command begins to creep forward, a tangible entity that chills the water and withers the nearby reeds. The lake is no longer a sanctuary, it has become a battlefield. Responding to their aggression, the Swan Queen unleashes her power. It is not a violent explosion, but a declaration of purity. She unfurls her magnificent wings, and each feather becomes a source of blinding radiance. The first flash is instantaneous, a silent detonation of pure, white light that banishes the twilight and turns the entire lakescape into a stark, brilliant white. The Shadow Herons recoil, hissing in pain and fury as the light sears their phantom forms. They are creatures of shadow, and this absolute brilliance is anathema to them. Their dark wings, which moments before seemed to drink the light, now smoke and char at the edges, scorched by the swan's holy fire. They stagger back, their cohesion broken, their menacing advance halted. The light is not just bright. It carries with it a warmth, a cleansing energy that pushes back against the cold malice they exude. The very air around the swan hums with power, a protective aura that her cygnets now shelter within, safe from the encroaching evil. But the herons are persistent, fueled by an ancient hatred. They regroup. They try a new tactic, splitting their formation, attempting to flank the Radiant Guardian. They lunge from the shadows, their movements now fast and desperate, sharp beaks of solidified darkness aimed at the vulnerable cygnets. They are like assassins striking from the void, their forms blurring as they dart through the churning mist. The Swan Queen is a whirlwind of light and motion. She pivots on the water, a dancer in a deadly ballet. A flick of her wings sends a volley of light daggers, sharp projectiles of pure energy that strike a heron mid-lunge, causing it to dissolve into a cloud of shrieking shadow. She rears up, her body a blazing sun, and lets out a second, even more powerful pulse of light. This wave of energy is not just a flash, but a sustained, rolling force that washes over the entire lake. It illuminates every dark corner, every weeping willow, leaving no shadow for the herons to hide in. Their forms flicker and destabilize, the cursed darkness that binds them unraveling under the relentless assault of pure brilliance. One by one, the Shadow Herons are overcome. Their glowing green eyes dim, their shadowy bodies evaporating like mist in the morning sun. The last and largest of the creatures, a towering figure of concentrated spite, makes a final, desperate charge. It opens its beak to unleash a torrent of darkness, but it is too late. The Swan Queen meets its charge head-on, her form coalescing into a single, unbearable point of light. The impact is silent but absolute. Where light and shadow meet, there is only nullification. The Shadow Heron evaporates completely, leaving behind only the fading scent of burnt ozone and a final, lingering whisper of its hatred on the wind. The threat is gone, the darkness has been vanquished. The silence that returns to the lake is different now. It is not the silence of fear, but the deep, resonant calm of peace restored. The water settles, its surface once again a perfect, silver mirror reflecting the first stars beginning to appear in the clear, dark sky. The mist softens, its tendrils gently embracing the shore once more. The Swan Queen's brilliant glow subsides, returning to the soft, gentle luminescence from before. She lowers her majestic wings and glides back to her flock. She nudges each cygnet with her beak, a soft reassurance that the danger has passed. They chirp softly, their fear forgotten, and press against her warm, radiant feathers. Peace reigns once more on the silvered waters, guarded by a creature of grace, strength, and unwavering light. As night finally claims the sky, the swan and her cygnets drift in a perfect V formation across the starlit water, a living constellation of hope against the darkness. Their story, a timeless legend of courage and the enduring triumph of light, is etched into the very soul of the lake, ready to be told again when the next twilight falls. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more tales from the edge of imagination. We'll see you next time.